Hey, what's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and I want to welcome you back to Season 4 of the Mindshare Podcast. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems and the Buzz Conference. Now, of course, be sure to follow the Buzz Conference at the Buzz Conference on Instagram and give them a visit online at www.thebuzzconference.com to keep up with everything that they are up to. We are always proud to have the Buzz Conference as an ongoing sponsor of the Mindshare Podcast. And of course, Kits is always with us. And hey, back with us today, of course. I have to tell you, our team keeps coming up with new ways to make this powerful marketing system even more powerful. I mean, it's one thing to be using a bright, shiny CRM because the other people are doing it. It's a whole next level when you use a CRM, which is a complete suite of marketing tools tied right into it. No need for third-party providers. No need for separate email blast systems. All your social media tiles are built right in. Websites, landing pages, an open house registry tool right in your CRM. This is the most effective keep-in-touch system that you can get. Seriously, I mean, Kits is loaded, and you need to check it out if you haven't yet. And I warn you, as I've done before, once you check it out and you start using it, you're going to be hooked. But I guess that's not much of a warning as much as it is a little bit of a lot of very friendly advice. Anyhow, check out Kits by going to my site, mindshare101.com, and clicking on marketing. And of course, as you know, we are always on our push to 100 reviews on iTunes, and we're getting closer. So I'd like to ask you, if you haven't yet, please take 2 minutes to rate the show, leave a review, and we're making it super easy for you. All you have to do is go to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. So again, that's ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. And of course, as always, thank you in advance. Now, the past couple of weeks, we have been away, and so you've been listening to some pre-recorded episodes. And as always, if you're listening to the recording through your favorite podcast platform, they're always recorded. But much the same, today is another live show. We will be doing a live show with our guest, and so this will be, the recording of the live show from this week. So we are back, got 10 days away with the family and into an Atlantic Canada East Coast vacation. Absolutely amazing, well-needed, and memories for Jennifer, Joshua, Leah, and myself for a long time to come, or I'd say for the rest of our lives. So time well spent, and family time is always right there at the top of the list for importance of what we need to be scheduling. Anyhow, today's episode is number 180. He is the founder of a real estate investment company called Multifamily Real Estate Investments. He provides investment education and opportunities for high net worth individuals by acquiring and improving underperforming apartment buildings. His investors are able to invest in large apartment buildings they wouldn't be able to buy on their own and earn above average returns, consistent cash flow, and tax saving credits. A 13-year real estate veteran, he is also the host of a real estate TV show and investment podcast. And besides his own TV show and podcast, he appears as a featured guest on top-rated real estate investing podcasts and in the media on a regular basis. He has also delivered keynote presentations on investing, mindset, strategies, and execution. This week on the show, I am joined by the CEO of Multifamily Real Estate Investments, Inc., Mr. Seth Ferguson. Seth, welcome to the Mindshare Podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me. Your voice is just butter right now. I love it.
You're the man, buddy. Well, hopefully it's not too much over these next number of days together, eh? We got a big weekend lined up, buddy. It's going to be a lot of fun. But hey, listen, just before we get into details about the conference, we had talked today about, putting this episode together about how to create generational wealth. And I know this is a topic that you focus a lot of time and effort on, a lot about, you teach people about, you help people achieve it. And I want to jump into that, but I just want to give some people a little bit of background into Seth Ferguson and sort of your, who you are, where you come from. I just mentioned a 13-year real estate veteran. I guess jumping right into some of the more tactical stuff that I enjoy talking about from a marketing perspective, because you're obviously a survivor, you know what's going on, you've been through different markets. What's your favorite go-to marketing tactic that you use for your real estate business?
Ooh, I'm having a lot of fun on YouTube right now. YouTube has been really good, and my channel is very niche in terms of multifamily real estate. And in terms of lead flow coming in from that compared to my podcast, YouTube destroys the podcast 100%.
Really? And so I find YouTube to be a beast. I've been there for years. I know a lot of people think of YouTube as a social media platform, which it is not at all. It is a search engine, just like Google. But I find it to be a difficult path to crack. There's a lot of little, idiosyncrasies about that platform that you really need to understand. What's your trick to getting views on that platform? Like, are you spending money to advertise that stuff, or what are you doing to make sure that people see your stuff?
No, all of our growth, and right now, I think we're at like 2,800 subscribers on YouTube. So it's not like a huge subscriber base. But one thing with YouTube is subscribers don't matter. It's the views that matter. So, with us, we're niche. We just focus on making sure, our titles, tags, description are bang on. We use some third-party stuff for that. And it's about consistency. To be honest, every week we have a new video, no matter what happens. And it's always being posted on Thursdays. And I think that's the key. And, there's no advertising, everything's done organically. And the great thing with YouTube is it's evergreen. We have one video, it's been pumping for a couple years now, and it's still on fire. It's one of our best performing videos, and it's always there. I found with the podcast, you have a new episode, and then it kind of gets lost in the hundreds of other ones. Mm-hmm. But with YouTube, it's always coming back up if it's a hot topic.
It's cool. It's good that you're getting the traction on it. And like you said, we just said it off the top, consistency is the key, right? Yeah. So with YouTube and more general to your business now in general, where does most of it come from? Is it people we know, or is it people we don't know?
Yeah, well, at some point you scale beyond your inner circle, and that's when you have to start advertising and marketing and kick it up a notch. Because whether you're in the capital raising space, or you're a real estate agent or a mortgage broker, you start with your inner circle, right? Your family and friends, and then you slowly work out from there. At this point, with all the stuff we're doing, it's all cold audience now. Okay. We built up our database, and now it's bringing in those cold people closer to us, so we can nurture them, educate them, provide value. And that's, as we'll get into some bigger stuff we're doing, that's all designed to bring in that cold type of lead, and then we can start nurturing them within our system.
And it's within the system, so it's still working them through that process to get into the database, that we can pull that, or stay in touch with those people, build more mind share with them, and then get them to understand what we're up to and believe in us. So, outside of that, outside of being a licensed realtor and doing all the stuff you do, you've also got the TV show, which I've been fortunate to be a guest on numerous times, and I thank you for the invitations always. Is that a really big driver for your real estate business, and how'd you get involved with that?
Yeah, so the story with that is years ago, I filmed a couple of segments for them. And the producer at the time had mentioned, we've always wanted to do a real estate TV show. And so I kept that in the back of my mind. And when I needed to kind of turn things around, I went through some difficulties in my personal life, and I was starting from scratch again. I picked up the phone, made the phone call, said, "Hey, are you guys still looking to do that TV show?" And got the meeting, and kind of went from there. So the TV show has been awesome. And I think as a differentiate, everybody's looking to differentiate themselves, right? Because there's the market wants to commoditize you, right? So whether it's a podcast, you gotta differentiate yourself. Whether you're a real estate agent, you gotta differentiate yourself. By saying you have a TV show, and then being able to invite people within my inner circle on the TV show, obviously, it helps them, expose them to a new audience, but it also allows me to give them something. So it's a kind of give and take exchange. That's the true power of it, because I'm able to, just offer things that a lot of other people aren't able to offer people. And so that kind of sets me apart. Plus, it's a whole lot of fun. When you come on, we have a great time.
Absolutely.
And, at the end of the day, it's all about, the person watching at home. It's giving them real information that they can use, rather than the newspaper, which is doom and gloom, and they're always spinning a new story.
I couldn't agree more with that. I couldn't agree more with that. And the show itself is called Real Estate Simplified. For anybody that hasn't had an opportunity to catch it, where can they go to watch that?
Yeah, if you're a Cogeco subscriber, you can watch it anywhere in Ontario. Just cool. Go Real Estate Simplified, but it actually airs live in Halton region. So Milton, Burlington, Oakville, Halton Hills, and that's on the daily schedule.
Now, the podcast, you've got the podcast. What's the podcast called? And why do you invest time in all this video and the TV show and the podcast? I mean, you said it a moment ago about differentiating yourself, which I really like that point. But tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so the podcast was the very first thought leadership platform I started. I'd done, I think, over 400 episodes on that. We actually put the podcast on ice about 6 months ago because we found YouTube was just growing. Like, we were getting so much better results with YouTube. But very, very proud of the podcast. It's called Purchase to Profits, and on it, I talk with successful real estate investors about their goals, their keystone deals. Where they're heading into the future. And it was great. And to be honest, like, none of the stuff I'm doing now would be happening if I didn't do the podcast. So it was a very necessary stepping stone. And there are some plans I can't really talk about to bring the podcast back in a slightly different format pretty soon. And I think, with the TV show, YouTube, and the podcast, that's a good trifecta. And then we've got a fourth special thing we're doing that we'll talk about in a bit. So
you got that right. Absolutely, man. So look, I mean, you're a busy guy. You got a lot going on. I know that for sure. You got an assistant that helps you with all this. I mean, do you believe that? And I'm going to throw a few questions in this one. Do you have an assistant helping you? Do you believe that agents need an assistant? And if yes, how did you know it was time to hire the assistant? And like, what were some of those steps? You're like, well, how did you? Yeah, I guess, like, how do you know it's the right time to get one?
Oh, if only I could go back in time. So, I can firmly say now that the right time to get an assistant is when you first start in the business. Because
right away.
Because you will have payroll to pay. You will make decisions differently. You will think about your business differently. You will think about your time and your tasks totally different. And I think, if somebody's getting started, let's say as a real estate agent, I think a lot of people tend to think of it as almost like a hobby until you get to a certain point. Mm-hmm. Wrong way to do it. Start as a business. And, when you have payroll, you're forced to bring in revenue. So you'll start devoting more time to those revenue producing activities. But there's no way I could do anything that we're doing now without a team. I've got Katie, who is amazing. She's like my go-to. And then with the YouTube channel, we've got Francis, who's running that. He's great. With some other stuff we're doing with the TV show, we've got a whole other team. So there's no way one person can do it on their own.
It takes a team with a lot of this stuff, right? I mean, it does take people in the background, whether they're right there in the foreground with you or they're operating behind the scenes to help you keep moving. There's certainly something big about that. And I would agree completely with that. I mean, when you pick up the assistant, that person that's there to help you, right away you realize a change. Right away you realize how much more you can accomplish. There's somebody else that's got that vested interest in helping you grow your business, right? So definitely a key one there. Now, when we look at real estate as a whole, real estate is a primary investment source for, many people. And we really look at investments. We look at sort of like stock market. We looked at real estate, and then there's people these days that are all about crypto. And, so there's maybe a third source there. But when we look at the longevity of it all, we know that real estate is like that best bet that you can have, right? And I mean, between the equity we build in our home to all out investing in the long term, you focus a lot of time and effort on that. So I'm curious, when did you start investing in real estate? What was your first project? What kind of costs were involved? Details of the property. Like, I'm just curious, like, here you are as a person. What I'm trying to do right now is position this for people that are in that school of thought that go, I'd like to. I'm just really not sure, like, where do you start? Like, I don't have millions of dollars to go and buy this like triplex and do all this stuff, but I'd really love to start taking advantage. Tell us about your sort of like starting point on that.
Yeah. So I got into it because I was a real estate agent at the time, making what most people would consider like really good money, except, my expenses were just as much as my income coming in. I had the nice car, I had the house with the waterfalls into the pool. Like I was a single guy with a 4-bedroom house. It was, I realized I had to do something. And, real estate, I was buying and selling these properties on a daily basis. I knew that product better than anybody else. So with my partner at the time, we started acquiring, single family properties. So we did like a duplex conversion, and we had a detached home, condo, like you name it. And that's how I got started with the residential portfolio. And, I think when you look at how much money you make owning the assets versus working, it's like typical Robert Kiyosaki. It's classic cash flow quadrant. As soon as you move into the business and investor side of the cash flow quadrant, your earning potential increases exponentially. Plus, it's very tax efficient too.
Okay, so again, here I am though, and I look and I kind of go, I think I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I got some money in the bank. I definitely got equity in my home, but I'm really not sure how much money I have. I don't know if liquid is the right way to go about this, but I don't know how much money I have liquid to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go put that down payment down. And then when I think about rehabilitating buildings and doing things like that, or even one particular house, and personally speaking, as David, yeah, I can do the renovations. I'm pretty handy with that stuff. From a time perspective, forget it. Haven't got the time, can't even think about it, don't know. So do I got to think about those costs? And so the whole thing becomes, again, renovating and flipping and doing everything else. Hold that thought. I'll be right back. I just got to make this call, right? So how does somebody from a financial perspective be able to figure out when they're ready to do so? And what kind of numbers maybe, and numbers could be all over the place, but I don't know if I want to use the word easy buy-in, right? But something to get people started. What would that be?
Yeah. Well, I think before we even talk about that, you have to figure out, what type of real estate asset kind of fits where I want to go.
The type that makes me money. That's what I want. I want cash flow, on a monthly basis. I want something that I know it's going to appreciate in value over time, which nobody can give you the crystal ball that it will. But that's, I just want it all. And I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. So we can then learn from my mistake. So the mistake I made, right? Because I started buying these residential properties, and anybody who lives in, Toronto, Vancouver, we know that a single family home, a duplex, a triplex, with the way prices are now, you're not going to be cash flow positive. You're going to be cash flow negative, pumping money in every month. You'll be equity rich, cash flow poor, just like I was. And getting a loan from the bank is next to impossible. They want your firstborn child, your left arm. So that's when I realized I needed to switch assets. So real estate was the right thing to invest in, but the real estate I was buying was wrong. So then that's when I flipped over to multifamily, which is, we're talking apartment buildings. And we could talk about a 10-unit building, 50-unit, 120-unit building. It doesn't matter, but at least we're on the commercial side. So for me, it fit my goals better because I still get the appreciation. I actually do get real cash flow now. The debt terms are a lot better. And how we can actually bring money in and what we can do, the scalability factor is a lot better on the multifamily side. So, once you figure out if you want to do single family homes, people do that. But I find with single family, we're talking now about generational wealth. Owning a couple of houses is not generational wealth. We need to really scale it up. And that's where apartments can really do that. So if we decide which asset we want to invest in, now we have to consider, okay, well, do I want to be active or passive? A lot of people think they want to be active and actually find the deal, finance it, do the work. But when you realize all the stuff that goes into it, the time cost, the opportunity cost, it doesn't make sense. You're far better off in most cases to keep doing what you do best. Let's say you're earning 300, 400, 500 grand a year and you're doing what you're doing. Don't start a real estate investment business from the ground up. Take that money, invest it with somebody else through a syndication, a real estate fund. That person will manage the deal, earn that return for you. You still get all the ownership benefits, the tax credits, appreciation, cash flow, but you can still focus on bringing in that income and then you're investing it in it. I think that's the best way to do it for most people.
Okay, so that was loaded. I love it though. So first and foremost, we said that I guess the definition of multifamily investing is to go into something like an apartment building where there are multiple families that live within this place. There's the difference between single family and multifamily. Fair?
Yeah.
Or clear, did I get it right? Right. From there, we look at, where the dollars come in and how to start. And if I go backwards for a second and go, how do I figure if I'm financially ready?
Yeah. So, and that's going to depend. Like if you're looking to invest passively, there are government regulations and when we're getting into security. So you are most likely going to have to be an accredited investor. So that means you're earning $200,000 a year, or 300 as a couple, or you have $1 million of net assets, not including your principal residence. That opens up a lot of opportunity on the passive investing side. But if you don't meet those criteria, you can actually put in some sweat equity into a deal. For instance, let's say somebody who has more money, so they have money for a down payment, they can sign on the loan, but you can go out and find the deal. You have real estate experience, so you can manage the deal. You can know when to raise rents, know what work to do. You can partner with that person. And so, we have capital on one side, we actually have the management side on the other. You can form a partnership and do a deal that way. There's so much opportunity, especially as there's more meat on the bone with these larger deals. You're able to bring in other people to work with you a whole lot easier. And it's more conducive to partnerships and making things happen.
Okay. So again, from a finance perspective, go and source maybe some folks to join up with or syndicate with. What I'm trying to do here is go, pull as much as we can out of you, because I know this is what you do, and you help a lot of people make a lot of money with it, right? And I'm looking at that and going, we've got these folks that are not necessarily dedicated real estate investors, but I think a lot of people do want to get into that. There's a desire to do so. And so we look at the step-by-step to creating that generational wealth. And I think it was a bold statement, but I'd say a fair statement, especially from the fact that you live and breathe it. That single family residence is not necessarily the key to that. It's that multifamily, because there's ongoing cash flow that comes through. Is that the idea? Because you got a lot of people in there that are starting to pull that together towards you.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, when we get into the commercial apartment side, we're not capped in terms of how many properties we can own. We are definitely.
What is that, government caps, you mean?
Well, lenders will have a cap. So most lenders will have more than, depending on the lender, 4 to 6 mortgages with that specific lender. And then, the debt service ratios get all messed up and stuff too. So the scalability factor is definitely there on multifamily. And if you actually own the buildings, it's not, the lender's not looking at you first to qualify for the loan. They look at the property. Can the property support the debt? With a residential property, the lender looks at you and your income to cover the debt, not the property itself. So very, very different systems. And we actually run a whole 8-week course on this stuff, but different ways of doing it. And that's why what you find is the people who are really scaling with their portfolio and achieving those generational wealth levels, they're on the commercial side of the equation, not on the residential side.
Okay, so then somebody on that side of things, or somebody on either side of things, let's just go there for a second. What kind of dollar value do they need? What kind of cash do they need in hand or available to them to even start going down this road?
Yeah, it's going to depend on the market. So if you're looking to own and be active, it's going to depend on the market. Right now,
I'm looking to make money. That's what I want to do. I want to make money. And I'm going from the blunt logic of I'm feet on the street. I'm not actively involved, but I know I want to be. So I don't know anything. I'm still green. I just want to make money.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to, buying a building in Toronto versus Windsor, very different markets. Absolutely. Calgary versus London, very different markets. Vancouver versus Saskatoon, very different markets. So your price point's going to change. If you're looking on the passive side with the true syndication, let's say an operator who's doing some larger deals, minimums, you may see minimums of $50,000, $75,000, $100,000 to invest in these deals, but you may also have operators who have a $25,000 minimum. It's all going to depend on the operator and the type of market and the type of deals they're doing.
So literally you could get in with $25,000?
You could, yeah. Again, it depends on the operator, and then you also have to meet, different criteria if it's accredited investors only,
Right.
et cetera. Yeah.
And how do you find all these people? Like, how do you find this? Like, one of our mindshare masters asking about REITs.
Yes, Vince, I see that. Yeah. So, Vince, a REIT is very different than what we're talking about, which is equity ownership. So, a REIT, basically, you're buying a stock of a company who just happens to own real estate. So it's affected by the general markets. When you're actually investing in a syndication, a fund, you own equity in that deal. So you get all the flow through benefits like depreciation, all those tax credits. Very, very different setup. A REIT, you're buying a stock. If you're actually investing in equity in a deal, you're basically getting all the ownership benefits. So very, very different. Good question, though.
Interesting. Very cool. Thank you for that. And I know he was also asking about the management of the building. So let's say you are getting into that building, coming along with the syndication, is management part of that? Is that something that people need to worry about, think about?
Yeah. So if you're investing passively, it's going to be the active partner, the operator who's probably has a third-party management company they're working with. Maybe they do management in-house. But yeah, the management's covered by the active party in the deal. And as a passive investor, you're putting in your capital, and that's all you're doing. You're completely passive.
So what about monthly stuff like carrying costs, cash flow? Is there stuff? I mean, like when you put down your initial down payment, when you get involved with syndication, do you have to worry about monthly stuff as well?
Yeah. So
I imagine you would. Like, there's got to be costs there, right?
Yeah. So basically, what happens, just to break things down. Let's say we're investing in a 100-unit building, right? And we're syndicating it. Each investor is going to invest whatever they invest, and for their share of the pie. And every month, the building's going to generate income, right, through all the rents collected, additional income streams. That revenue goes to pay, the debt on the property, management, all those costs of doing business, and whatever's left over, the positive cash flow, that's then distributed to the passive investors as well as the active partner in the deal. So some operators will give out quarterly checks, some will give out monthly checks, and you're basically just opening up your mailbox and you have your monthly distribution check of the profits. Now, how we go into how those are paid out, that's a topic for a different video on the splits and all that sort of stuff. Cool. But yeah, if you're investing in quality multifamily properties, they're cash flow positive from day one. Unlike buying a duplex right now in Vaughan, where you're probably in the hole at least $500 a month.
Okay, and that's the thing to understand. So now it's a matter of finding the proper property, right? So yeah. What are the tricks to that? Like, what are the tricks to finding the right investment property? Because it's like, look, for those of us in the real estate game, we come across a lot of real estate on a regular basis, obviously, right? And there's a lot of things that look like it's an opportunity. You go, oh, it's only that much money. Yeah, let's go. I could Airbnb that thing or whatever. Yeah. And you think to yourself, it's easy to take that money and throw it down, that down payment. I can carry the cost of the mortgage. Why not? What I'm learning here today is like, hey, hold on a second. You could probably take that money and put it into a more lucrative investment.
Yeah, and it's we get into the topic of speculation versus investing, right? So what I find a lot of people do in the GTA right now, or any hot market, they're buying these properties. They don't produce positive cash flow. So the only way you're making money is if the value of the asset goes up. If we look in the dictionary, that's the definition of speculation. Investing is where we get, cash flow in the form of distributions or income. And then we also have the appreciation side. So a lot of people, whether it's, new condo construction, those types of things. Oh yeah, I just bought a new condo. Okay, well, how are you making money? Well, the price is going to go up. Well, you're speculating, you're not investing. So I think as a brand new investor, we have to really have a solid understanding of, am I speculating or investing? Speculation is fine as long as you understand that's what you're doing, because there's a lot more risk in doing that, especially acquiring a property where you're cash flow negative. What happens if the value drops? Now you're underwater in terms of equity, and now you're actually paying into this asset that you're underwater on. That's not a good situation. So I would much rather see somebody acquire an asset that's producing positive cash flow, that has a solid value add business plan where you can actually increase the value of the asset. That's true investing right there. And how do we find these properties? Well, it's like dating. Like, you have to kiss a lot of frogs before you get a good one. Like, right now, we're looking at probably 300 deals to get one. That's what the numbers look like right now. And it's not, you have to understand, okay, where's the property at today? How can I add value? What's my competition doing in that market? Is there a gap between the rents today and where I can bring the rents to? That's the underwriting side. That's the modeling and analysis side. And that's where you make or break your deal. You just have to kiss a lot of frogs and know your numbers.
And as you just mentioned there, that's a lot of kissing. Absolutely. There's certainly a lot there that you got to go and check out. A good question here as well around in terms of the down payment and what you're doing and what your monthly carrying cost. What kind of percentage of sort of ROI is there an expectation that says, get into something like this, you should see X?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example for the types of deals we're looking at. We try and have those deals pencil out to an IRR, so that's an internal rate of return of about 13 to 15%. Our deals are typically a 5 to 6 year hold, and so those are the types of annualized returns we're looking for. Now, other operators may, depending on the strategy, they may have a lower return if there's a less risk profile, but you may see a higher risk profile and a higher return. So there's that give and take. If you have more risk exposure, you're going to want a higher return, and vice versa. If you have lower risk exposure, you're going to have a lower return.
What have and I know this is a loaded topic, so to say to you, what else do I need to know to start creating generational wealth? If I was to sum that up to everybody, to say that from what we've learned in these past few minutes right now, it is more about the multifamily approach than it is about the speculation on a single family. And from a dollars and cents perspective, to find the right property, you are going to have to do a lot of searching, much the same if you do partner up with the right group of people. They can start to cut that time right off and help you kind of get into investing a lot quicker.
Yeah. So I think, anybody getting into this, just understand that you have more options than what you see on HGTV. Because the people making real money in real estate, they're not flipping a house. they're not investing in a duplex. Right. They're investing in these larger properties. I was very ignorant when I first got into real estate. I drive by an apartment building and think, it's some rich corporation, it's some rich life insurance company who owns it. I couldn't be more wrong. Normal people are investing in these buildings, and they're actually getting, the cash flow, the appreciation, the tax benefits that you don't necessarily get with the smaller stuff. So just be open to other possibilities and just don't focus on what you see on TV. Except my TV show, we actually talked.
Yeah, way to go on that one. Yeah. So here, tell us more about multifamily investing. Your company, Multifamily Investing Inc. To say how are you helping people? We obviously get a sense of how you're helping people, but tell us more about the company. Because again, when we talk about finding a group of people to work with, to help you with, people who understand what's going on, people that are living it and breathing it, to the fact that you just said, kind of when you first started, maybe a little bit ignorant to how it works, and all the learning you've done. Share more with us on that, because it seems like obviously you are, and your company are, one of those groups of people that can help others.
Oh, absolutely. So what we do is we partner with accredited investors, and we take down these large apartment buildings. So right now we focus in Texas and Florida, and our ideal unit size range is between 100 and 250 units. So these are large properties, but you get the economies of scale. You get the cash flow, you get the tax credits, and all that sort of stuff. So that's what we focus on. And then we also have an education component. So that's where we get into. We have a course called Discover Multifamily that takes people from having zero experience all the way to getting ready to do their first deal. That's huge because there are a lot of people who want to get into multifamily investing, but they just don't know how. So that's what Discover Multifamily does. And then we've got a big event coming up, and that's just everything on steroids.
Absolutely. So when we're looking at that, let's say, and I'll just throw it out there and kind of go, I don't know if I want to take a course, but maybe I'll throw down some money. Like if somebody wanted to get involved with you guys right off the top and just be like, man, listen, sign the Mindshare podcast. I trust you, to the nth degree. I just want to throw some money in and start doing this. Is there a bare minimum that you guys are looking for from people, or is that a completely loaded question? It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So our investment minimums are $75,000 US. Okay. That's the minimum for us and the deals we do. But if somebody's out there and they're like, hey, sounds like something I want to do. I'm not quite there yet, but I will be soon. Happy to talk with them. You just go to callseth.com. And we'll set up a call after the big conference. And cool. Happy to chat and kind of direct you and get you the right resources.
So speaking of like whoever that person is, who is your key audience on a regular basis? Is that like anybody and everybody? I mean, that's a wide open one, I guess. But
yeah, we have a lot of business owners, a lot of people in tech, some accountants, some former pro athletes. These are people who earn a good income and they're looking for a very solid place to invest their money where the returns are consistent. Right now with inflation, you want to have a hedge against inflation, which is real estate. It's accredited investors. So it'll be people who meet that $200,000 to $300,000 income level maybe their assets as well, $1 million, not including their primary residence.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. So, look, we've alluded to this number of times, and I think that as we look at everything you're doing with the TV show, the podcast, the courses that you're teaching, the company that you run, and the fact that you live it and breathe it, again, we've sort of brought this up a little bit and said that we got this big event coming up this weekend, which we've been working on for some time now. Tell us about the Multifamily Conference that is going down this weekend. Tell us more about it, location, schedule, who's the speaker that are going to be there. What is everybody going to be walking away with after we wrap up on Sunday? Why should people be joining us this weekend?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have the best MC ever. So throwing that out there. But yeah, the Multifamily Conference is I built it for people who want to scale their investing with multifamily real estate. And we've got people on both ends of the spectrum. We've got brand new beginners who have a lot of determination to get into multifamily, all the way to people that have, $300, $400, $500 million in their portfolio. So if you fit somewhere in that spectrum, the Multifamily Conference is for you. And it's 2 days, May 14th and 15th this weekend at the CAA Center in Brampton, right by the airport, because we have people flying in literally from every single province and every single state in the U.S. So it's huge. And speakers. We're
going to have a lot of people there.
Oh, it's like we have over 1,000 people in the building. So we've got Kevin O'Leary coming in from Shark Tank. He's going to be talking about what goes through an investor's mind, the nature of capital. He'll be talking about the market shifting right now and what's happening with the markets. We've got Joe Fairless, who controls almost $2 billion, like billion with a B, of apartments.
I had to reread that every time I read it. I'm like, is this right? Have I got the right amount of zeros here? Wow.
Yeah. So and then we've got Joel Block, who's a complete structuring wizard. We've got underwriting, financing, capital raising, like every component of multifamily. I've handpicked every single speaker because I know they're the best person to talk about it. So we got the great speakers. We've got the networking. That's a big reason why a lot of people are coming, especially since we've been locked down for the past 2 years. It's time to get back out there. And you talk about this every single week, it's about the relationships and building the mind share. And nothing is better than being face to face with somebody. And that's why it's so important to come out to the conference.
Well, that's a big thing right there. And I think that some of the stuff that I've already taken in from just, getting prepared to be there this upcoming weekend is the amount of people we're going to have in that building. the speakers we're going to have there, the amount of knowledge, the amount of experience, the amount of money that's going to be sitting in that room, right? And we're talking about people who are like, they're doing massive, massive stuff, right? So, I mean, Kevin O'Leary is going to be there, as you just mentioned, between all the other speakers that are there and the people that are sitting in the seats who are very much involved in this stuff already, that'll be able to talk to somebody right next to them and say, hey, yes, I'm doing like this. I can give you some real-time insight into what this is about. Or, you're sitting there and you're kind of new to it and you're on the other side and you're like listening. You're like, did you understand what that means? There's a very good chance that the person right next to you will fully understand what that means and be able to break it down for you in almost what we call layman's terms over a coffee.
Yeah,
right?
No, for sure. And people are coming to partner with people. We've got very experienced people looking to bring partners on because they're scaling the business. We also have people coming who have a lot of money who know nothing about real estate. So they're looking for a partner so they can invest that money. The one thing I say is every single conference I go to, there's one deal there for me. I just have to find that deal. So it might be a new investor. It might be an actual property. It might be a future partner. There's at least one deal for you when you come. You just have to find it.
Well, and I think that's certainly one of the big goals of this conference, right? Is that when people come there, they will walk away like it's gonna be like ROI for them because they're going to be doing 100, 200, 500 times sort of like what they even just sort of paid to be there. The returns are going to be massive.
Massive.
Like I am so pumped for like just for the conference itself, but even for everybody there. I just think that that conversation around building wealth, right? And we all I don't know if there's a single person, maybe like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos don't care anymore. I don't know, right? You know what I mean? Because they've achieved it. But like everybody on earth wants to achieve that dream of generational wealth, that whole thing of not having to work anymore. Being able to support our family, being able to support our grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and everybody else, like being able to take care of the community around us. And I know that that's a big thing about the conference as well. And with everything you're up to with Multifamily is supporting not only our families and ourselves, but supporting the community that we're with.
Oh, 100%. Like with us, it's like, why do you want that generational wealth? It brings control back on your side. Like you have more control of your life. And then, when we acquire an apartment building and we improve it, we're providing a safer, better place for families to live. That's what it's all about. The tenants win when we have great ownership. The landlord wins when you have great ownership. That's why we do it. We're impacting our communities and getting control back in our lives. So, if let's say with Joe Fairless, $2 billion he controls, he has full control of his life right now. And that's, I think, where a lot of people want to be. Because, our time on this earth, it's finite, might as well make the most of it and do something cool with it.
Well, again, if everybody's in that moment, in that mindset of wanting to achieve that dream, and I think everybody, whether you say it out loud or not, probably wants to achieve that. Hence why people play the lottery and do all sorts of things, right? Again, this conference is that moment right there where when you attend it, the idea here is to have you walk out ready to do exactly that. Right?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, our speaker lineup, like I will put our lineup against any other real estate event. Like where else can you get this level of success and experience over 2 days? You can't. I'm just so thrilled. Like my excitement is bubbling over.
Oh my God, I could tell that. I know for sure, right?
Yeah.
And so when we look at, and I know I asked you this before, but your audience for, your company, when we look at the audience for this actual event, again, this is anybody who wants to build like anybody. And so, to our real estate audience, who is obviously very intimate with the Mindshare podcast, everybody tuned in. This is for you. Like this is somewhere where you can come, you can attend and learn how to do it. You can bring clients of yours and attend, to learn how to do it. It's a value add with your clients as well. So because you're educating them, you're going to come there, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to be able to, we talk about ILT, invest the time to learn something new, to teach it to others. You're able to learn a ton and be able to take that information and share it with people back. And it's content, it's value strategy as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. And actually, we have a lot of real estate agents and teams who
I imagine
bought blocks of tickets.
Right. And they're just sending them to the clients.
Yeah. So they're turning it into like with their real estate investor clients, they're turning it into a client event type of party. it's like, hey, you pick up the phone. Hey, Mr. Client, you want to come hang out with me and Kevin O'Leary this weekend? Like, why
right?
not?
No, seriously though, right? And I know somebody was asking here, and I guess the question here is around giving referrals to realtors that bring investor clients. And I would say that, I don't know necessarily that we want to get into to details of that. That's your call there. But I would say that for anybody that is interested in looking to partner up or looking to collaborate, connect with Seth, connect with the team over there, find out what the opportunities are. When it comes to, first, when it comes to investing, when it comes to referrals, there's always opportunities to spin things in ways, because that's what it comes down to. This is about networking. This is about connecting with others. This is about collaborating with each other so we can help everybody together collectively do a lot better out there. So certainly get in touch with Seth and his team to find out more about that. But Seth, are there still tickets available for the event? And where can people go to find out more?
Yeah, so we're sold out of VIP, we're sold out of Platinum, but we still have limited availability in our Elite and Club levels, which is the stadium seating. You have great seats to the stage.
And let's be really clear here. We're talking, it's a stadium. We're not, and not to downplay conference centers or like banquet halls, but we're in a stadium. This is going to be badass.
And that's my biggest pet peeve with conferences. And I had this on top of my mind when I was building this thing, is they all look cookie cutter, right? They're all the same type of thing. This is totally different. Just wait until you see the stage. Very different. So we actually
pumped about. I've been seeing the stuff. Like, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. And we actually created a special discount code just for your listeners. So if they go to multifamilyconference.ca, and they use code MINDSHARE, all one word, all caps, you can save 15% off your ticket. And you only have 3 days left to do it, because it's on the 14th and 15th this weekend. But go to multifamilyconference.ca and enter code MINDSHARE, and you'll save 15% off.
All right, we're just going to get that up on here for everybody right now as well.
Yeah. But yeah. In terms of tickets, unfortunately, we're sold out. But it's going to be a huge party. You think about the energy that all these people are going to bring to the building, and it's infectious. People are going to come out of there not only with the knowledge and some new frameworks and systems they can apply, but you'll be pumped up too after hanging out with over 1,000 other investors.
Are you kidding? We talk about energy, man. We're already getting ramped up right now. I'll tell you, we are super, super pumped. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Somebody was asking if you do this on the west side of Canada, and I would tell everybody tuned in. And forgive me, I'm going to jump ahead here for you, Seth. But this is not just a one-time thing. This is going to continue to happen, because there's a lot of people out there that want to make a lot of money, and Seth's going to bring that to them and help everybody there. But any plans to do anything? Like, I know next year we're already planning Toronto, like the next year's event, which is amazing. Do you span in different places?
Yeah. So this is an annual conference. It's too big to do multiple times a year. So it's once a year. We are announcing the location and what we're doing at the conference for 2023. But yeah, if you're out west right now, book your plane ticket. We actually have people driving across the entire country to come here, because they can't hop on an airplane yet. Yeah. So they're actually in the car driving across the country just to come to the conference. It's that important for them to come. Looking at everything that's coming, there's going to be so much loaded information over there. I can understand why people would get in the car to drive across. So tickets are still available, which is good. We've got a loaded day Saturday. So we get started Saturday morning, doors open at 7:30 a.m., breakfast and stuff. I know we've got some networking around 8 a.m., but we get live at 9 a.m. And then we're running through all day Saturday. We got an awesome event, which is, again, an exclusive event Saturday evening. We're back at it Sunday, a full day of learning once again. We got lunch. We got all sorts of amazing things. Again, the networking, the learning. I mean, look, I guess I'm in go mode for the event right now. So I'm up here about it. And I just can't wait to get there on Friday already. And I know for me, I'm going to be there a day ahead, because I'm going to be that excited. But no, I just want to encourage everybody, if you haven't yet, definitely go over to multifamilyconference.ca, leverage the code. Thank you for that, by the way, Seth. Mindshare, to save yourself 50% and get your butt in the car, on a plane, whatever it be, and join us at the CAA Center this upcoming weekend.
Anything else we could share about the conference that maybe we haven't shared just yet, just to encourage people? Or I think people get it. We're pumped.
Yeah, we're pumped. The only thing, like, I'm so confident you're going to come and love it. That, if let's say you show up and on Saturday morning, early Saturday afternoon, you're like, you know what, this isn't for me, I'll even give you your money back.
Wow.
So you just have to let me know by 3 p.m. on Saturday. No questions asked. So that is how confident I am.
Wow.
You will show up and have your mind blowing.
Wow. So talk about ROI. Listen, you cannot lose. Make sure you join us. Multifamily Conference. Check it out, multifamilyconference.ca. Mr. Ferguson, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
Oh, boy. Well, I think on Sunday, if the successful day will be if somebody comes up to me and tells me they will never look at a duplex again, it makes my day. So,
well, you already got me there today. So. Very cool. Personally, right now, and I know we got some Leaf fans online over here, but for me, I'm looking ahead to Thursday at the moment. Getting super pumped to see if the Leafs are finally going to get over the hump over here, but that's a completely separate conversation. I am totally wrapped up in my playoff hockey at the moment. But
I know. My fiance was at the game last night. It was
no way.
Yeah. I was back doing conference play.
I was about to say, how'd you get left behind on that?
Yeah, way too much stuff with the conference. Yeah.
Well, listen, buddy, we appreciate the time today. Tell me, give us some final words, final tips, anything that we can do to help everybody get out there, build more mind share, build more wealth, and overall, for themselves, just to take themselves to that next level. Yeah, you know what? Whether it's on the investing side or on the mind share side, just do it. So many people hang back and overanalyze things. Who cares? Just go out and do it. You'll learn as you go. Like that's the only way to make things happen. Get off the fence, make something happen. I absolutely love it. Where can people find you? We talked about the event website. Is that where you want people to go? Where else can they go if they want to? Yeah, go to multifamilyconference.ca. If somebody's interested in the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Seth Ferguson. And if somebody wants to chat about possibly investing, just go to callseth.com and we'll set up a call after the conference. Perfect. After the conference. And we'll see you all at the conference. Seth, thank you for all the time and all the insights today. Appreciate it. I know it's a very, very busy week for you. I am looking forward to seeing you on Friday. And again, thank you for joining me on the Mindshare podcast today. You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle for Realtors. This is a 31-page ebook packed with a ton of tips and tricks for you. Plus, there's a ready-to-go 90-day social media content calendar to help you build more mindshare so that you can get more market share. And of course, if you want to talk about personalized one-to-one coaching to help you get to your next level, just get in touch with us. We'll set up a free Explore call. We'll learn more about what you're looking to achieve and how we will help you do exactly that. Also, don't forget that our push to 100 is on. All you have to do, and this is super easy, is go to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Again, ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101 and give us a quick review. Let us know how much you love the show. Give us a big 5 stars. And of course, we would be very, very grateful if you took the time to do so. And of course, if you haven't yet, connect with me on Facebook at Mindshare101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. I want to thank Virginia Munden and the Buzz Conference for sponsoring today's episode. Be sure to visit their site, www.thebuzzconference.com, and follow them on Instagram at The Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all the awesome events they are always hosting, along with getting the latest copy of the Buzz digital magazine. And of course, I want to thank Kids Keep in Touch Systems for sponsoring today's episode. If you haven't checked this out yet, just go to my site, mindshare101.com, and click on Marketing. This has been another episode of the Mindshare Podcast. Thank you for tuning in.